Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Dr. Music Podcast once again, where today sitting in with me is Sarah Moon. Sarah is a Portland-based singer, songwriter, and guitarist, and has done work in almost every genre of music, from opera and chant to blues and metal. As a classically trained singer, Sarah released her bluesy self-titled debut in 2008, the more Americana-based Good Girls Sleep Alone in 2016. And today, what we're going to talk about most is her most recently released record. It's called Cut and Run, and it's a rockin' record. So we're covering all the bases. Sarah, thank you so much for being here.
Absolutely, my pleasure. Let's talk about cut and run.
Yeah, this is a rockin', it's a rock and roll record.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, it's a little more in your face. I love the debut. And I read Etta James as an influence for you
Yeah.
on that press release, along with Chris Cornell is listed. A little bit of a different thing, but not really. These are both natural, beautifully talented singers. Uh, and there's a certain spirit that I think all singers have, whether they're singing blues or metal or anything else. Um, you're one of those natural voices. It's crazy to hear it in all of these genres, and it's so great. Cut and Run, a rockin' record. How did the shift come about to do Cut and Run as opposed to what you had done before?
Good question. For me, I just felt it was time. I just wanted to rock more. I have a lot of slow ballads on the first couple albums, and I wanted to have an opportunity to have, more people on the dance floor, kind of be a little bit more uplifting with my messages and just the overall feel and tempo of the album. So yeah, it was just kind of a gradual shift and exploration into something different. And rock's always been kind of I would consider myself a blues singer above all else, but rock is what really fuels me. It's what I listen to mostly. And so it just felt like it was time to evolve and put out a rock album.
Okay. When you hear that self-titled debut, are you still happy with it? You still proud of that record?
I am. I'm really proud of that one.
And you should be.
Thank you. It really um is very authentic, in each way. And from the themes of the songs to just how I sing them, that's my the alto side of my voice, it just kind of brings out my low tones and it just pays tribute to that Etta James side of me.
Hmm. I hear it and I think this is a musician's album. It feels very like naked and raw. Like this is you without any shield up or any kind of predetermined direction. It feels very, very natural. Like I'm getting all of you. And it's not, the record company telling you to do a blues record or, anything like that. It feels very, very raw and very natural. Uh,
Yeah, and I wrote it when I was very young.
yeah.
I think that's part of it, it's just out there.
which is even more impressive because it is a great record and it's very natural. And usually, I would say 9 out of 10 when you're young, you're influenced by outer sources that are telling you what to do and things like that. So, that's not always the case where you write, a really natural you know progression for you as a young singer, and that's a gift. It was great. It's great to
Thank you. I'm glad you listened to it. I'm glad you like it.
yeah,
Means a
yeah,
lot.
yeah, it's great. Now your upbringing, very, very cool. Your parents involved in stage production. So
Yes.
you're on the road and on stages sometimes at a very, very young age. Tell me a little bit about that experience and the impact it had on what you're doing now.
Yeah, that was a really unique and cool way to grow up. I didn't realize it was unique at the time, obviously, because I wasn't around a lot of other kids for a bit there. But no, it was cool. My parents ran a live sound engineering company, and we toured up and down the West Coast for a few years, and then settled back in South Dakota, where I ended up, growing up and going to school mostly there. Um, it gave me a unique opportunity to see what happens behind the scenes from day one. And, there's a lot of hurry up and wait, as you probably hear from musicians, but, that was kind of just our normal life. It gave me a lot of respect for sound crews, for sure. It's
Yeah.
like the song says, the first to arrive and the last to go, right?
Right.
Um, and just, I have a little bit more knowledge about how it all goes together. I mean, now everything's digital, and so I'm not probably able to run sound as easily, but it was cool. We did sound for just every genre, from top 40 bands to reggae to, blues, jazz, whatever. And it was just fun to be experiencing live music on that level. Like you said, you could stand on stage. Sometimes I'd stand there with my mom, we'd run monitors together and just watching the whole show. And just seeing how people perform and
Yeah.
seeing, what you can do with every instrument known to man. Like there's just so much talent out there. It's really fun. And I just love watching live shows anyway. And I mean, that's probably where it came from, but I'm super into going out to see live music.
Yeah, and it's kind of the same story, though you have it a little bit different, obviously, than I do. But I mean, I saw my first show I believe I was 7, almost 8 years old, and I saw a lot of shows at that time, big shows, Pink Floyd, ELP, that kind of thing, and I mean, huge change in my life because of that.
Right.
Visually and in the ears, audibly, I just everything changed. What I wanted to see, what I wanted to hear, how I saw it, how I heard it. So I can imagine the impact that something like that would have on you, being behind the scenes with that and actually, controlling that sound, seeing it be controlled. It had to have great impact. Is there a particular, I mean, you guys did all kinds of shows. Is there one particular thing that you saw at a young age when you were doing that and with your parents that had the most impact for you?
For me, watching blues guitarists was big. And I just was like wanting to sing with them always. That was probably the biggest influence. Just watching someone rip a blues solo and get the whole audience just to go like, "What's happening?" And then just you suck them all in. You're super engaged, and yeah, it was powerful.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Now you did join a children's choir.
I
Uh,
did.
and I hear you talk about it and I read about it in the press release. It was huge for you. It was a pivotal moment, wasn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah, it got me on the path to sing it. It's how I am doing what I'm doing today.
Ah,
Absolutely. Yeah. Because
that
I
is great.
was I was more interested in dance, although I didn't really pursue that. And I was a violinist. And then the choir thing came up and I was like, I'm gonna audition. Let's try this out. And then that choir toured. They're international. When I was with them, we toured like the US and Canada. But it was life-changing.
Yeah, yeah, that's just, I mean, now when you look at back on it, now I know I've had, I took some chorus in high school, and I
Mhm.
know, I have 2 kids. I've seen the programs where they're teaching voice, but they're not teaching voice really. They're just all singing together. Um,
Mhm.
what was it technically like for you? Because you are classically trained. You did go on and get classical training. Uh, in that elementary stage, when you were in that choir, was there technical vocal training, or
Absolutely.
were you just singing together? There was.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. The conductor was very hands-on. We would even have individual we'd have camps, and so from time to time we'd even do individual just one-on-one training, or even with small groups. And the choir, I think it was about 80 people. It was a pretty big choir, and ended up getting, some huge recognition. And then pretty soon, like, the major choir world songwriters were writing songs for us, and we were performing our own music, which was felt unheard of. We're like, wait, we're just this little
That's
choir out of the middle of nowhere. um, but yeah, no, there were several music teachers that created, like, that were all of the conductors. There was one main conductor, and so each of them would kind of take some of us aside and teach us. And then, later in life, it was in well, later in life, at that point, it was in high school, I entered some vocal competitions. And then from there, if you got, first, second, or third place, you would get an opportunity to train with people from the Met. So I ended up doing that as well.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow, what a great program. I grew up in Chicago, and no art, no music. It was, math, reading, science,
Yeah.
that was it. So, I every time I hear that, and my kids, I mean, I'm not in Chicago anymore, just outside of Chicago, they have Grammy-winning music programs here. My son got a teaching degree, music teaching degree. So, I see this, and it's so important. It changed his life. It enhances his life. Music is so powerful. So to
That's
see
great.
that,
You bring up Chicago. When I was in that choir, we sung the national anthem at a White Sox game. That was one of the crazy opportunities we had. Yeah.
that's beautiful. That's beautiful. What a great program, and bravo to the people running that program.
Yeah. It's still going today, I believe. It's called the Rapid City Children's Chorus.
Wow, man,
Mhm.
that's great. I love to hear that. I love to hear that because I didn't experience that as a kid, and it's kind of sad when I see schools especially not having those programs. So
Yeah, for sure.
important. Um, cut and run. You're writing the writing process for this. I want to go through it a little bit because I see a name that I know pretty well.
Oh, do you?
Brandon Cook. He's a friend and a wonderful human being, and a great father, above all, but a great
Mhm.
guitar player. Yeah, Brandon's fantastic. He's been on the show a couple times along with Jeff, and we're gonna get to Jeff too because you do something
Okay.
really, really special with him. The Loyal Order, of course, and Black and Blue for Brandon. He's your writing partner.
He's my writing partner. Correct. Yes. He dipped a toe in with me on Good Girl Sleep Alone, so my second album. I wanted this certain sound, so I got this, like, Keith Richards from my other guitarist, Chris Viola, and then I got my slash Brandon Cook special over here. So I put those two together as my rhythm and lead guitarist, and they swapped. But from there, he and I were like, well, let's just take some of these songs that we've been kind of woodshedding. We've been writing a little bit on and off for years, and we've been friends for probably nearly 20 years, I think. And it was like, I just want to write a rock record. And Brandon's the most rock guitarist by far.
I was gonna
So
say, if he's involved, you're gonna get a rock record.
yeah, yeah. So that's how we did it.
That's cool. And now, the writing process. Do you guys sit in a room and hash out riffs and lyrics, or does he bring in all the music and you write the lyrics, or how does that work?
Yeah, we do it all together. So typically I'll be in the car and I'll get like a line in my head, and I'll start singing, maybe a piece of a chorus. So I'll get out the phone and do a quick voice memo. And then I'll come to him with some lyrics that I free wrote, or, just some ideas of things. And then he'll be like, okay, that sounds like this to me. So I'll sing him my chorus essentially, and he'll write a progression around it, and we'll decide which direction to go with it. And then he'll also come to me sometimes with just a riff, and then I'll take some of the lyrics that I've free written and just write something to it. We always just say yes to each other. We hash out every idea, and we just have a lot of, like, ease in the writing process, so that it is natural for us. It's not like we're doing it on purpose, but it just causes us to both feel really chill with one another as songwriting partners. And so we get a lot done, and we get it done pretty quickly. Like when we're on a roll, we'll hash out a song in a session.
Wow. Awesome.
Yeah.
That's cool. Now you say you're yes people, you work on everything. There are 8 tracks on Cut and Run. Is there anything that didn't make the cut? Do you have cutting room floor stuff for next record or something like that?
Yeah, there was one song that got left behind just because it didn't get finished in time. So we started demoing the album during the pandemic, which was really complicated because we were doing it with a producer and we're in 3 different locations. And then, like in a freezing room in a corner of a garage, like
Right.
vocal and guitar booths. And so at a certain point, I was like, well, we got to cut it off. Like, we're not going to continue writing as we're demoing and everything else. So there is more material in the works. And we'll see which direction I go, if I go back to blues or if I continue with rock with this next. But I think it'll probably continue being a combination of the two, like that nice 70s blues rock sound.
Yeah, yeah, that's great. The Paul Rogers thing, you can't argue with that.
Yeah.
Uh, the process, like with Brandon and everything, is it completely different than what you did, back in with the first record, or even, like you said, Brandon was involved a little bit in Good Girls Sleep Alone. Um, is it a lot different now, though, the writing process, or I would imagine it's a lot different than the first record.
Yeah, the first record was written with a different partner at the time, a very classically trained, he went to Berkeley, jazz, classical, whatever. He could play anything, pianist. And then he also played guitar and sang, and we played as a duo for many years. So that was more, I mean, it was definitely written together, but I think he had a little bit more hands-on with the progressions because I was also pretty young and I didn't play instruments as much at the time. I played a little bit of guitar, but so that was kind of a different experience. And then Good Girls was pretty much all me. There was one song that Brandon and I wrote together, which led to the next. So each album kind of has its outlayer. Like the first album has a song called Missoula, which was written completely by me and I played all the instruments on it. And then led to Good Girls, which was all the Americana stuff that I was just getting better at playing guitar. It's kind of what it was. And now we're doing, cut and run. So we're we're really wailing.
It is no doubt, no doubt. Really cool. What influences your writing most of all? Where do you draw the most inspiration from?
Either life experience or people's stories.
Okay.
Most of it's based on a little tidbit of something that I've heard or felt or seen. With the third album, it's not as personal as the first two, which wasn't really like done on purpose, but I just wanted to write some more universal life experience songs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean the first one, like I say, is it's impactful and emotional and raw and naked.
Yeah.
It's the best, it's it's just there for you to emote on. This one is I've heard you say it's a driving record. Get in the car, top
Yep.
down, which is great because, I have that car for that. So
What do
I,
you have? Let's hear about it.
I have, I have a Camaro convertible, so I can put the top down.
Okay.
I can
What
crank it
year?
up. 2015.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a fun car.
You can
Uh,
go back roads and just go, man. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I got a little ways to get to a back road where I am, but but it's worth the journey for sure. And
Yeah.
to have an album like Cut and Run to fall into with that experience, on a nice day to put the top down and crank this thing. Pretty great, pretty great. It's a fun record. Anybody that loves that adrenaline driving thing is going to enjoy it for sure. Um, Tell me about a video. I hear you're working on a video now. When I listen to music, I kind of envision something like I would read a book. I kind of have a feel for a certain picture in my mind. And these records kind of bring that these songs bring that out a lot.
Mm.
So I'd love to see a visual. Uh you don't have anything out there yet. You are working on something.
Yeah, we just filmed a video for the song Cut and Run. I had a pretty grandiose vision for it, but the tricky part has been the car. So I wanted to use a 1968, 67, 69 Camaro for the shoot.
Yes.
I have access to two, but neither one was ready at the right times. And, classic cars can be temperamental. And
Yep.
so it just got to the point I was like, well, it's been a year. Let's just get something done here.
Yeah.
So we did it in a studio with a really fantastic, he's an engineer and a videographer by the name of Rob Dacre. So he's working on that now. So we just filmed it, was it last week or the week before? It was the week before, I think. It's all a
That's
blur.
yeah,
So
that's
it'll be ready in about a month or so.
oh, that's cool. That's great news. That is awesome. Did you get a car?
Didn't end up getting the car, so I had to
Okay.
go the different route. But
Okay.
maybe for Only You Stay, because that one also has that like nice bass line that just looks like tires on the road to me. Just like I can get the visual of driving.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Maybe I'll have to not go classic and go more modern cars.
Yeah, it's a boy, that's a dream car that you mentioned there. The 68 Camaro is
Yeah, well, I learned to drive on a 1967 Camaro. It was like our family car, which is ridiculous. But
man, it really, I mean, what a classic.
yeah.
Holy crazy. Um Now, I happen upon this video. My other friend Jeff, another guest, two, three times on the show, great guy, Jeff Buhner, Loyal Order. You do a Mayfield 4 song from, Mayfield 4, for people who don't know, Miles Kennedy, Slash and the Conspirators, Alter Bridge, his band. Before that, um, Miles Kennedy is one of my favorite singers.
Yeah, it's like
Uh,
he's wow, those
is
pipes are incredible. And his song, I mean, he's so talented in every direction. He can play, he can
yeah,
sing, he can write. Yeah.
it's just crazy how great he is. Summer Girl. Uh a great song. You do a duet with Jeff Buhner, on that song. Now, I didn't read that in the press release or anything. I just happened upon this, and you have the title screen on the video is Unexpected Duets. So tell me a little bit about the song, the choice of the song, the duet with Jeff, and this unexpected duets that we might get sometime.
Yes. So Unexpected Duets was just one of my harebrained ideas. I often will lay awake at night and go, oh, what if I did this? I did like it's embarrassing now, but I did a Sarah Moon calendar once for my first album. Like it's not as risky, you hear like calendar and I think everybody thinks bikini or whatever.
But
It's quite like that. But I just get these weird ideas and I was like, what if I just did a bunch of duets of these songs that I love? Because I have songs in all different genres and all these different performers that I would love to sing with or play with. And the song Summer Girl, like, first of all, I just love the Mayfield Four. All of them across the board. They're so talented. They're just like so amazing. All the songwriting, the vocals, just everything is so yummy with their music. And so I was like, all right, I'm in the car all the time, driving, listening to Summer Girl, and I'm singing this high harmony with it. And it's different than the original in that way. And I was like, I just want to find somebody to sing it with me. And Jeff just popped into my head and I was like, yeah, Jeff's the obvious choice. There's not a lot of people doing original rock in Portland right now. And, Jeff and I are buddies and he was like, yeah, okay, let's do it, And so I presented him with the song and we rehearsed it a little bit. And obviously we brought Brandon on board. And then the bassist, Davey Laprenzi, aka Davey Nipples, is, he's like a rock legend here in Portland as well. And he was also in Everclear.
okay,
Um, and then we brought Mike Collins on drums, who has, he's done a ton of projects too. But I think mostly local stuff. He's got a band called Rooftop Screamers. But anyway, uh, So yeah, it just kind of came together really quickly and naturally, and I just, wanted an opportunity to work with those guys and also Rob Daker. So we just did it at Rob Daker's studio as well.
Yeah. And Rob
Yeah.
Baker, that is a name that just he's
Yeah.
done a million different things.
Oh, man. So many
I
things.
mean, it's so many things, and nothing particular is coming to mind, but I see his name everywhere.
Yeah, well, he does all the loyal order stuff too, so
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, and this song, what you guys do, Jeff is just, it's so gritty and
Yeah.
it's dirty and grimy, and it's just so perfect with your voice in there. The contrast and it's just, man, it's really cool, and it's a video. uh People go see it. It's fantastic. Summer
Yeah,
Girl.
please go to YouTube and give it a look.
Yeah, yeah,
Listen.
and it's a really well done video too.
Thanks.
I mean, it's really it fits the song so well, and we get to see you guys really in great light and everything. It's really just really cool. What are some of the other things on Unexpected Duets that we might get? When will we get? Are we going to get a record?
Oh, probably not a record for that because it's
Okay.
mostly going to be, I don't know, I keep teetering. The original idea was, that I would meet with a songwriter and we each play one of each other's songs. So I may do some of that. And right now I'm just kind of doing some of the covers that I don't get to do. I don't have a place to perform some of these other songs. So, I have a pretty big variety of stuff that's in the works, and I'm trying to focus a little bit more on getting some cut and run stuff done right now. So hence the next video is going to be for the actual album, not just for frivolous fun with the unexpected duets. But the idea, I mean, I have about like 10 of them that I want to do. And so it'll just be like a series that, when I have the time and funds and the people lined up, I'll just do another song.
That's cool. Yeah, and we're in a singles world. We can only handle one at a time these days. So,
Yeah, good point. Good point. Yeah.
you
Yeah,
know,
I
I'm
get
a
started on the second album too. So, or the second version of this band album. So,
yeah, yeah, and I love the fact that Cut and Run is a record too, and it's a flowing record, which I'm old school. It's you put it on and you go on a journey.
yeah.
It's cool. And I miss those days.
No, I'm with you. I just want to put the headphones on or get in the car and just like listen to the whole thing. And so that was the point, and that was the song order, chosen for that specific story as well.
Yeah, yeah. Sequence used to be a really important thing. Yeah, not so much anymore, but it is here, and I appreciate that. That's great. What's the ultimate goal for you? You do so much and so many little things, and you just enjoy what you do. It's obvious what you do. You've been in a Motley Crue cover band, singing
Yeah.
backups, a
Yeah.
Heart tribute doing Nancy. Uh, it's so many different things. Is there an ultimate goal for you? I know you got a young one at home too. That's being a mom is number one, I'm sure, for you. Um, what's the ultimate goal for you? Just to do this as something you love to do? Do you want to take this on the road? Do you want to do giant stadiums? Do you want to do session work and just
Yes.
make a living?
The answer
Yes
is
to
yes.
everything.
No, I love to perform. And so I like being on the road and I like performing and I like being out there. I would absolutely love to play a stadium tour. I wouldn't limit it to one, of course, but I would love to get out there and do that. The ultimate goal would be to not have a day job and to be a full-time musician for sure.
Yeah, isn't that everybody's dream?
No doubt about it. Be a rock star. Yep.
Yeah, there you go. Now, do you have plans to go on the road? Is that something you're looking at? I know how difficult that is, and all the elements that, it's a very complicated thing that people don't even realize. Just to get everything going in the same direction for a tour is very difficult. Um, Do you have any plan for taking it on the road?
Yeah, well, right now we're doing Pacific Northwest, like mostly Oregon shows. I'm just getting started booking, and so I'll it's kind of that like year in advance thing because everybody's still kind of coming off the COVID tail
Oh,
end of the pandemic, being like, okay, a lot of venues have closed, a lot of big shows are not happening like they used to be. And so, it's just kind of seeing what's out there right now and what's available. But yeah, ideally we would get on the road at least for like weekend out gigs, if nothing else. I don't necessarily need to be in a bus, with everybody for a month or two, but if that surfaces, I'm definitely going to see if we can make that happen. And I think that everybody is hungry for that and hungry for more performance in general. And amongst my musicians, a lot of them are touring musicians, and so they're used to that lifestyle. um yeah, it's just a matter of waiting for the right opportunity or creating it.
yeah, yeah. That's great news. Yeah, I'd love to see you out on the road doing everything you do. It's really, really great. Where can people find you, Sarah? Social medias and website, and go ahead and tell us where to find you.
Absolutely. I keep it really simple. It's Sarah Moon Music all across the board. So whether it's my website, Sarah Moon Music, Instagram, Sarah Moon Music, Facebook, Sarah Moon Music, just go there. Some of them I'm in the middle of transitioning from kind of I was using my personal pages for music as well over the years. So some of them are a little bit newer, and don't look like I have a crazy following, but it's just because I'm like it's come to my attention that I need to separate the two. So I'm working on that right now. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And Sarah Moon Music, and that's where we find you. Thank you so much, Sarah. And
Thank
thank you for
you.
keeping it simple. It's not always that simple.
Yeah, no, definitely not. Especially with whatever. I mean, there's a lot of Sarah Moons, and so when you're
There
trying
is.
to
Yeah.
screen for something, it's like, good luck.
It's been so much fun. Thank you, Sarah. You're welcome here anytime you like. The door is always open. Please come back and see me.
Wonderful. I would love to. And if you like a actual physical copy of the album, I'd be happy to send you one so I can get your address somehow.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, yeah. Well, I'll drop it to Jody and we'll figure it out. Thank you so
Sounds
much.
good. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Enjoy your day.
All right, you too. Bye-bye.
Bye.